Kenya is about the only country in the world where foreigners have a field day, where foreigners are almost worshipped. It's so sad, but that's the truth. So all these people coming here, Chinese, whatever, they don't respect us because we don't love ourselves. We worship foreigners. Nobody, especially within the public sector, nobody should be allowed to employ even a single person.
I see.
Nobody at the county level should employ. Nobody even at the university. No parastatal should employ even one person, just one, even casual, even temporal. You want an employee, you give the specifications, you give the kind of person you want, and if there's approval required up to ministry level, whatever level, or public service level, approvals are granted, and then it is taken to the National Employment Bureau, who will pick somebody for you.
I see.
This country will move forward. Somebody else has argued, if the biggest office in the world, the most powerful office, which is that of the President of the United States of America, you enter there without experience. Nobody asks you experience to be President of America, and you are given that with all the power. Why do you want to ask a young man for experience?
Workplace diversity is a must for all organizations in a country in case they want to achieve social, economic and political gains. It is for this reason that we dedicate this particular edition of Business Glide towards addressing this particular subject and see, in the fullness of time, how best as a country we can tap into this very arena. As always, my name is Richard Mwenja, your host here on Business Glide, and right about now to help me dissect into this subject is none other than Kenya's most sought after political analyst and renowned public scholar in Eastern and Central Africa. The first of his name, Herman Manyora.
Thank you, Richard.
You're really looking good in that shirt.
Thank you, Richard.
All right, yes. I see. Well, you have seen the trending issue about Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital, whereby 47% of the staff come from one ethnic community. And it's actually a report that was tabled in Parliament by the Office of the Auditor General. For us as Kenya, will you say that there are sectors, say the health sector, that is so critical where we cannot afford to have issues such as ethnic discrimination?
First of all, it is obvious that once you give somebody a job in a department or an institution, it goes without saying, from the cook, the driver, and all the way to department head and all those kind of heads and all those kind of things will be from his group. We are trying to do something about it, but we are far from achieving that. And it's not just within the health sector. It must be across the country, across all sectors. Because I have repeated this, and you will have to allow me to repeat it, maybe for the last time, that countries that have succeeded long discovered that for every job available, you have the best man or the best woman.
I see.
That's why they are where they are. It's not by chance. Before you know that, and the value of knowledge and ability, before you know that, you'll just keep on going in circles, remaining a poor, dirty third world country.
All right.
Yes. Sticking
to the arena of ethnic discrimination, the Kenyan Constitution under the Kenya labor laws highly prohibits such. And if you look at communities such as Nubian community in Kibera, and actually by ethnic minority, I refer to those communities that have low social and economic or political gains and standing, would you say we are far away in tapping into such communities, having also going to a corporate? I see people from Nubian community, people from marginalized communities are making part of the corporate staff.
Yeah, we know we need just to incorporate every Kenyan. We need to be aware that there have been historical injustice that has that some communities have been marginalized over the years. Some form of affirmative action is required, and so on and so forth. Because everybody here must be part of this country. Yeah, and sometimes we have to go out of our way, as indeed the Constitution urges us. We need to go out of our way to ensure that all persons, all communities are a part and parcel of the body we call Kenya.
All right.
Yeah.
We are seeing increased foreign investments in Kenya. And if you look at Kenya's setup, we've gone the route whereby if we have, say, Chinese investing in Kenya, there is a local procurement plan and a local employment plan that they have to adhere to. However, what would you make of the kind of hard tackle against such people who are discriminated against on basis of their nationality or race? Will you say it's because perhaps some of them don't honor such local procurement and employment plans? Talk of the case of AGR, SGR employees, the Maasai and others fighting them.
You know, I said Kenya is about the only country in the world where foreigners have a field day, where foreigners are almost worshipped. It's so sad, but that's the truth. So all these people coming here, Chinese, whatever, they don't respect us because we don't love ourselves. We worship foreigners. And they break every rule in the book. They bring people, I have seen people sweeping roads. Sweeping roads. During road construction, there's a time before you do the bitumen, you clean it.
Lots of
sometimes
dust
even with the brooms. You see Chinese doing it. I've seen Lebanese when they were constructing Ngong Road. Lebanese, you know, driving small trucks. It's small things that even you don't need to know how to drive. So we must get out of this, honestly. But we are not going to do it violently. That's not how things are done. We need to have our laws in place. They need to be respected. Immigration laws are disregarded. Immigration officers are perhaps compromised. I don't know for sure. But you know, you'd want to ask yourself, how do you go to a restaurant and somebody doesn't even know English, not even Swahili? They are foreigner. They are doing a job which you don't even need to go to school to do. How did they get a work permit? You keep asking, how did this person get a work permit? Just to collect money. I mean, I can understand when you have your business and your chief accountant, your financial director, because it's your money. I can understand why you'll bring somebody from Bangladesh, Pakistan. But I cannot understand how you can bring somebody just cashier, collect money, issue a ticket. You know, we have to. And even before we talk about bigger things, for example, in construction, road construction, buildings, there's what we call technology transfer. That when people come and do roads in Africa or in Kenya for that matter, they must, after a certain duration, leave the project when they are Kenyans who know at least some part of that job. About 25% of technology transfer. Nothing. It doesn't happen here because they come do everything themselves. So that they can do 10 roads. The same company can do 10 roads over 10 years. And not a simple aspect of road construction has been passed over to Africans.
Under the guise that we don't have the capacity.
But the engineers are there. They are supposed to be these engineers trained with the degrees who are supposed to be part of this so that they learn aspects of road construction.
All right.
Under what we call technology transfer. It doesn't happen.
I see.
Because we don't love ourselves.
All right, sir. To uphold workplace diversity, would you say that it's high time to make use or best use of the human resource offices? We go less on social capital, people getting into jobs because probably they know Herman Manyora or they know Simon Irungu. So that if I'm coming to looking for that position, it is not much about who do I know who or that case. We go less on social capital and make most efficiency of the HR department.
That's where we need to go. It's long overdue. And I've advocated for a very simple way. Let's have a National Employment Bureau. National Employment Bureau.
I see.
Anybody seeking employment, labor, anybody seeking to have an employee, they get them from that bureau. The bureau is so well funded, so well structured. Every Kenyan who is looking for a job or has skills is in the data bank. Let us end the idea of people employing in government. If you are in the county, just tell us who you want. So that you are the county, you are not employing anybody. Just tell us who you want. Send your request through the process, through approvals. Then it reaches the National Employment Bureau. Even companies. And this is not far-fetched. It used to be like that. The labor office in industrial area, for example, that's where all companies went for workers, especially casual workers. You didn't just go to the gate and get somebody. That was discouraged. If you wanted 10 workers, you went to labor and they gave you the 10. They send you. So we can go back to that arrangement, recalibrate it, make it much better. But the idea I'm saying, nobody, especially within the public sector, nobody should be allowed to employ even a single person.
I see.
Nobody at the county level should employ. Nobody even at the university. No parastatal should employ even one person, just one, even casual, even temporal. You want an employee, you give the specifications, you give the kind of person you want, and If there's approval required up to ministry level, whatever level, or public service level, approvals are granted, and then it is taken to the National Employment Bureau, who will pick somebody for you.
I see.
This country will move forward.
All right.
Yes.
59 years later after our independence, as a country, looking at our labor market, do you feel we've created over time an efficient response system that handles complaints that have been lodged with regards to workplace discrimination, whether on the basis of age, experience, sexuality, nationality, and so forth? Do you feel we've gotten to that point whereby you can just call a center and say, probably Herman is sending me away from this opportunity because I don't feel the bill just because I'm not of this nationality, of this race?
A lot has been achieved. These days, you can't just even dismiss people anyhow. So we have achieved a lot. People go to court and people are in check, put in check.
Labor court.
Yeah, there's labor court and there's the constitution, and people are aware of their rights, and the government is there, and even the police. If you report things, you are evicted out of your workplace, maybe thrown out of your house if you are housed by the employer.
All right.
And you get attention, but there is still a lot to be done. There is still a lot of discrimination within the workplace. We need to improve on that. We need to ensure women are not harassed. We need to make sure children are not employed, child labor. We need to make sure that even foreigners, when they are working, people don't discriminate against them, so long as they are in this country in a fair way, and so on and so forth. We see there's a lot to be done, but much has been achieved.
All right, sir. Universities and colleges in Kenya are churning out graduates in the hundreds of thousands each year. Now, however, for this particular lot of people, they are saying that they are highly discriminated on the basis of their age and experience, whereby I'm applying to be, say, a business reporter here at Herman Manyora channel. But I'm 22 years old, fresh from graduate, but you tell me I need a person with 6 years work experience just for an entry level. Don't you see that we also setting the bar too high and really a contrast with regards to we want these people to get this opportunity, but also there's a contrast ending up as a discrimination in the first place?
Experience is important in some jobs. There are jobs you can't just walk there and do unless you have experience. So for somebody to ask for experience, again, there's nothing wrong. But people have said, if you ask for experience, then you are, in a sense, locking out. Somebody else has argued, if the biggest office in the world, the most powerful office, which is that of the President of the United States of America, you enter there without experience. Nobody asks you experience to be President of America, and you are given that with all the power. Why do you want to ask a young man for experience?
3 years.
But again, Kenyan young people and our institutions, and I want you to listen, because who knows, tomorrow you could be a big person and contribute towards policy in this country. In other countries, the volunteer thing, as you are in school, high school, university, college, you do things on volunteer basis and you gather your experience in that manner. Kenyan students, on the other hand, I got my nephew something to be a volunteer with a UN body. He ignored it and went to work for a bank at 24,000 shillings. I said, look at this man, UN volunteer, that kind of thing. This many years later, he's still trying to struggle with life. So Kenyan students must also learn to volunteer. However, again, you cannot blame them. We do every opportunity that comes, like IBC. I've said about IBC. IBC is spending so much money, and part of it is because it is hiring people and paying them in billions. Why doesn't a body like IBC invite students to come in as volunteers? Because with the time, nobody is going to talk to you about experience, because you say, I volunteered here, next time I was there, the other time I was there. That's sufficient experience. Absolutely. But again, they must be given those. This country must have the culture. But you see, they will not do that. Why? Because that's the time for them to eat.
To party around.
Yeah. Because, first of all, they will hire people they know. They will please their friends by bringing in people at IBC to be clerks and be everything else. But at the same time, who tells you they will not exaggerate the figures and eat?
I see.
But to answer your question, experience is important, but does not always mean you'll be experienced because you have done that job. It could be through volunteer, but much more important, finally, is the kind of education we give our children must be the kind of education that makes adaptability very possible.
Seamless.
So that you could go to a place, there's a machine you've never seen it, But the kind of training you have received, education you have received, within a week, you have the science, and therefore to adapt, or doing a certain job somewhere, when you go in a different company, a completely different job, but you can quickly adapt and do the job. That's what we need to do.
Absolutely. Sir, Kenya is eyeing to tap into the full potential of the African Free Trade Continental Area. Would you say having us get a robust workplace diversity will open up our access to new markets and also product development in the near future?
Certainly. You need people who look at things using 3D. And you need people who are versatile. You need people whom you can move in one place and take them the next place and they are working. You see? Mm-hmm. So that you can get even young people here and go and work in other countries. They will participate in this free trade area because they are versatile. They think...
Yeah, policy formulation and all that.
Yeah. They understand the world much better.
All right.
Than we old people.
I see.
Those are the kind of people you need.
This is an election year for Kenya, and 2022 general elections are a big ballgame this time round. Would you say there are majority of Kenyans who are feeling they are discriminated based on their political affiliation, whereby if I'm not a UDA, a Kenya Kwanza or an Azimio person, even my prospective employer sidelines me, whereby right now you apply for a job, my name is Richard Kamau, but then if I'm not in the wing of Uhuru Kenyatta and then I'm sidelined, would you say, going to the future, how can Kenya best stem the issue of political discrimination, pre and post elections?
Part of what I said is to have a national employment bureau. It's sort of those kind of, because these are normal things. They are not as pronounced as some people may want to argue, but they are normal things. It's normal that people discriminate you on the basis of your name, especially in an election year like that. But I don't think they are it's such a big deal. Those are small matters, but we need to take care of them so that no individual who will be going for a promotion today will fail to get it merely because they are associated with a certain political persuasion. That will be very critical, because maybe this young girl has worked her way, given everything to this job, and this year was her year for promotion, and then she's denied that just because the people in charge of making that decision view her as belonging to a different political. That would be very catastrophic. We shouldn't go in that direction.
All right. Yeah. The very last, sir. From an international relations optic, would you say when you have cases like that of KU teaching and referral hospital, whereby 47% of the staff are coming from one ethnic community, when it's time for us probably to sort assist in terms of grants, donations, and loans, say from IMF, that could potentially harm us because already we'll have soiled our reputational setup, whereby it's a country full of ethnicity, tribalism in the workplace. Don't you see that as a potential threat?
Because when you are dealing with people, partners, they are boxes to tick. Structural arrangement of the company, reporting systems, accountability systems, efficiency. So if you have nepotism to that level, certainly some of these boxes will not be ticked, and that could affect you negatively.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we wrap up this conversation today, talking matters workplace diversity and why this subject is of crucial importance to Kenya's economic setup, so that we tame the issue of discrimination, whether social, based on nationality, race, gender, sex, and also religious affiliation, among other categories under which one might be discriminated upon. For Fun of the Week, we go all the way to United States of America, and we get a person by Jambi Maguta.
Jambi Maguta, thank you very much for being part of the family and encourage others to join you in joining the family. Thank you very much.
All right, make sure you get posted on African Proverb of the Day that comes to your screen right away after this. And we are truly humbled that you've kept us company all this way. This is our 50th edition of Business Glide. We've made tremendous effort with regards to looking at issues to do with business and economic setup of Kenya. Keep us company because more insightful episodes and editions are coming ahead. So stay tuned.